If you strip the internet hype, the memes, and the performative bravado, the Sigma male is not a rebellious alpha or a detached omega. He is a psychologically individuated man who establishes his value through inner alignment, not external permission. He is the man who doesn't audition for validation, which is precisely why validation follows him. And this creates a paradox that many women, consciously or unconsciously, try to hide from him. The deeper their fascination, the more they conceal the very levers that might appear to control other men, but fail to move him. Women, like men, live with a public self and a private self. But the Sigma makes that gap feel dangerously visible because he reads patterns instead of performances. He is not trying to win her over, so he notices what a needy man cannot see. He sees how often attraction, boundary testing, and social signaling are not random, but calibrated strategies to measure a man's center of gravity. And because his center is internal, her usual testing instruments return static. What women rarely admit around a Sigma is that unpredictability is the most seductive form of power in the romantic marketplace. Not chaos. Chaos suggests instability. I mean principled unpredictability, the refusal to be choreographed by flattery, scarcity, or jealousy plays. The Sigma does not send good morning texts on schedule like a vending machine. He communicates in proportion to genuine interest and authentic capacity, not performative obligation. That unsettles shallow control loops. Here is the first hidden truth many women won't confess around a Sigma. The "I don't care" mask is often a stress response to how much they care. A Sigma calmly ignoring low-effort bait will surface the dissonance between her scripted aloofness and her rising curiosity. The more he resists cheap hooks, the more she must either deepen her authenticity or exit. And that forced choice often reveals how much of modern dating is theater built on fragile egos, not soul-level alignment. This leads to the second hidden truth. Attention is the default currency of weak men, but presence is the rare currency of strong men. Women are used to attention inflation, endless DMs and constant checking in that feel like sugar highs with emotional crashes. The Sigma's presence is measured, patient, and selective, which makes it scarce, which makes it valuable, which makes it threatening to any plan that depends on constant reassurance. So she hides the craving, disguising it as indifference, because wanting him feels like relinquishing leverage. Third truth: the rules change in the atmosphere of a man who cannot be emotionally blackmailed. Many women, especially the ones trained by social media to equate options with power, deploy the triangle move, introduce a third party, hint at another suitor, elevate a past lover, or subtly imply a line of men around the corner. This usually jolts a man into competition mode. The Sigma does not compete for what he doesn't consciously choose, and that breaks the triangle. Her hidden fear is not that he'll fight harder, it's that he simply will not fight at all. The Sigma is not apathetic, he is anti-friction. He doesn't enjoy drama because drama is debt. Every argument he entertains must be paid back in time, energy, and self-respect, and he refuses bad loans. Women keep this quiet because one of the oldest leverage points is to capture a man's time under the false flag of urgency. But the Sigma treats time like oxygen, non-negotiable. If a conversation drains integrity, he cuts the oxygen line without malice and without announcement. A fourth truth many won't voice: the "I'm not ready" script is sometimes a mask for "I want to keep you orbiting while I extract." Around the Sigma, that script expires quickly. He allows for human timing. Everyone has seasons. But he doesn't allow indefinite ambiguity. His boundaries convert the romantic maybe into a binary: step in with clarity or step out with grace. Women often hide how relieving that is because certainty requires accountability, but relief struggles to speak when the ego wants control. Fifth truth: attraction to a Sigma is often less about looks or status and more about the felt sense of safety that discipline radiates. Not safety as in smothering protection, but the safety of personal order. He doesn't drink from every attention faucet. He doesn't hand over his schedule to chaos. He doesn't build life on other people's moods. This is profoundly attractive, but also intimidating, because to receive his presence, you must meet him with clean energy, honesty without games, desire without hidden knives. Women often conceal how much they study a Sigma's relationship with his craft. In a world where many men outsource meaning to whoever texts back first, the Sigma's work is not a placeholder. It is a covenant. He treats purpose as a temple and pleasure as a guest. She might tease him for being too focused, but privately, she's clocking the signal. A man who can delay gratification for a goal can also delay reactive anger, petty jealousy, and needy chaos. That signal is rare and quietly irresistible. Here's a truth that few want to admit aloud. Respect precedes affection in the presence of a Sigma. When a woman respects a man before she loves him, the attraction deepens into devotion. When she loves before she respects, the relationship bleeds out slowly into contempt. The Sigma moves in a way that invites respect first, through consistency, boundary clarity, and emotional minimalism. That's why shallow coercion fails. There's nothing to grip. What do women hide? They hide the mirror. The Sigma is a walking mirror, not because he judges, but because he doesn't feed illusions. His silence pulls unhealed patterns to the surface. If she is used to men co-signing her excuses, the Sigma's calm refusal functions like spiritual friction. And friction reveals edges, entitlement, performative independence, dependence on attention vitamins. She may accuse him of being distant, but the distance is the exact space where truth becomes audible. Another concealed reality. A Sigma's no is never loud, but it is final. Women often hide how attractive finality is. The modern buffet of maybes has created a famine of decisiveness. When he says, "I don't do disrespect," and then walks away when disrespect shows up, he becomes a lighthouse. Not for her ego, that may rage, but for her deeper self that longs for a man who will not negotiate his self-respect for temporary approval. Women also conceal how much they audit a man's relationship with solitude. Most men fear silence because silence exposes them to their own emptiness. The Sigma treats solitude as a forge, not a prison. He returns from silence with a clearer mind, not a hungrier ego. She may mock his hermit mode, but quietly she knows. A man who can be alone can be trusted in a room full of options, because his anchor lives inside, not across the table. In the presence of a Sigma, the emotional economy flips. Love bombing withers because he does not mistake intensity for intimacy. The breadcrumb game dies because he doesn't chase crumbs when he can bake bread. The on-again, off-again carousel stops because he doesn't board rides he didn't book. Women hide that these games feel exhausting anyway. With the Sigma, they finally collapse. A difficult truth that often goes unspoken. Some women are not afraid that the Sigma will abandon them. They are afraid he will awaken them. He exposes where the strong, independent energy is actually a panic shield, where the flirtation is fear-wearing lipstick, where the sarcasm is armor. He doesn't fight the armor, he simply refuses to romance it. And when the armor receives no attention, either the heart emerges or the ego ejects. Women hide their fascination with hierarchy inversion. Traditional dominance seeks followers. Sigma dominance seeks freedom. He is dangerous to the social script because he's proof you can be powerful without a parade, magnetic without a megaphone, desired without a performance. That destabilizes influence tactics that depend on public spectacle. The Sigma, being private, cannot be leveraged by public opinion. He is immune to group shaming because his self-conversation is louder than the crowd. Another concealed layer. The Sigma's boundaries create polarity. Not the meme-worthy polarity of alpha posturing, but the stablest form, masculine containment. He contains his reactions, his schedule, his money, and his words, which generates a field where the feminine can soften without losing herself. Many women quietly crave this environment while publicly insisting, "I don't need a man." The Sigma doesn't argue with slogans. He offers a climate. And in the right climate, flowers decide for themselves. What else do women hide? They minimize how much they test. Tests are not cruelty. They are reconnaissance missions of the unconscious. Are you steady? Do your words survive pressure? Are you emotionally house-trained? Most men respond to tests by pleading or performing. The Sigma responds by returning to baseline. He lets the test grade itself. She might tell her friends he's hard to read, but what she hides is that he is easy to read. He's consistent. Observe the bait-and-switch dance. She elevates herself in conversation and waits for him to mirror with fawning. The Sigma mirrors reality, not insecurity. He compliments with specificity, not inflation. He doesn't gas to gain access. He praises what is praiseworthy, and he withholds what is unearned. Women hide how hungry they are for this kind of sober admiration because it exposes how worthless cheap compliments feel in comparison. There is also the jealousy shadow. Many women hide the fear that they are not the only beautiful woman the Sigma could attract. The difference is that he doesn't shop for validation. He shops for alignment. He might quietly decline 10 invitations because the energy quality is wrong. This terrifies anyone who intends to monopolize him with superficial value. It also reassures the part of her that wants to be chosen for depth, not just aesthetics. Here is a harder admission. Some women hide the resentment that a Sigma's standards will apply to them too. Standards feel romantic when they are used to filter other people. They feel invasive when they land on us. The Sigma's standard is simple. If it costs me my peace, it costs too much. That means not every mood gets access. Not every crisis is his problem. Not every demand is sacred. She may call that cold, but deep down she knows it is warm to his future family, career, and health. Women rarely confess how much they study a Sigma's relationship with anger. He is not harmless, he is controlled. Harmless men are dangerous because they lie to themselves about their capacity for harm. Controlled men are safe because they are honest about their capacity, and they keep it leashed. She watches how he says no without insult, corrects without humiliation, and leaves without leaving a mess. That conduct is high signal, and high signal is high attraction. The Sigma's silence is not empty, it is curated. He does not fill dead air with small talk to keep her nervous system calm. He lets the quiet expand until something true shows up. Women hide how magnetic that quiet is, because to admit it is to admit that much of the chatter they use in dating is a shield against exposure. In silence, we discover whether there is anything worth saying. Pay attention to the money dynamic. The Sigma is generous, but never performative. He doesn't buy affection. He invests in experiences that match his values. Lavish waste is not his love language. Stewardship is. Women, especially those who unconsciously equate spending with caring, often hide their disappointment here. Yet the deeper self respects it. Men who manage resources well manage emotions well, and the relationship needs both. Consider digital minimalism. The Sigma is not always online, not because he is aloof, but because he treats his attention span like a weapon. He doesn't argue in comment sections, he doesn't thirst trap for reassurance, and he doesn't outsource his mood to algorithmic spikes. Women hide how stabilizing that feels because the ambient culture rewards hyper-availability. But the nervous system knows the truth. Intermittent reinforcement is addictive. Consistency is healing. Let's name the feminine fear of irrelevance. If your leverage is borrowed from a man's insecurity, the Sigma repossesses it by being secure. This can make some women panic. If I can't hook him with scarcity or threaten him with alternatives, how do I keep him? The answer is both frightening and freeing. Become the woman whose essence is the value, self-respect, kindness, depth, feminine joy, rather than the woman whose strategy is the value. Women often hide that they crave the mentorship embedded in a Sigma's standards. Not the patronizing kind, but the mature exchange where both people get better. He expects excellence from himself, and excellence is contagious. He is allergic to chaos, and boundaries are contagious. He centers purpose, and purpose is contagious. Around him, the soul gets called upward, which is beautiful for the brave and unbearable for the brittle. Here's an unglamorous truth. The Sigma's schedule is not flexible for people who treat time as a toy. He will enthusiastically make room for someone who communicates like an adult. Clear plans, honest changes, zero ghosting. He will quickly close the door on chronic flakiness. Women may hide their frustration at this boundary, but their future self will bless it. Reliability is sexy. Vagueness is a slow death of desire. Notice the apology pattern. Most men say sorry to smooth over tension and get back to access. The Sigma apologizes only when he is objectively wrong, and then he adjusts the system so it doesn't repeat. That discipline exposes performative apologies used as hall passes for recurring disrespect. Women hide how much that standard elevates them, because once you've tasted a clean apology with matched behavior, dirty apologies make your skin crawl. What do women hide most? That deep down the Sigma gives them permission to retire their own games. Around him, manipulating feels childish. With him, high standards feel natural. Near him, their body learns the rhythm of being chosen for truth rather than for tactics. Many will resist this because it asks for real growth. But those who consent to it discover that the power they tried to seize from the outside lives and has always lived within. The Sigma is not anti-woman. He is pro-truth. He doesn't win by out-arguing. He wins by outgrowing. He doesn't punish childishness. He outpaces it. He doesn't prove his worth. He lives it. Women may hide their hunger for this man because the culture mocks the discipline that produces him. But hunger has a way of telling the truth, and the truth is simple. Sovereignty is sexy. If you are a man listening to this, I will tell you the part no one tells you. You do not become a Sigma by copying behaviors. You become one by cleaning the mirror. Journal until your patterns confess. Train until your excuses get tired. Meditate until your thoughts slow down enough to be seen and sifted. Build your craft until your name is a synonym for reliability. Love God or the good or the highest you know with enough sincerity that you cannot be cheaply purchased. And then move quietly. If you are a woman listening, here is your invitation. If a Sigma enters your life, don't compete with his purpose, collaborate with it. If he sets a boundary, honor it. If he offers presence, reciprocate with warmth, not tests. If his silence makes you anxious, breathe into the space and bring something true to it. If you want to be chosen, choose yourself first, because he only recognizes women who have already recognized themselves. The final secret women keep around a Sigma is the simplest. They are nervous, not because he is cruel, but because he is clear. Clarity dissolves games. Games conceal fear. Fear resists growth. Growth is the only path to the love they actually want. The Sigma stands at the threshold like a quiet oath. Come as you are, but don't stay as you were. Those who accept cross into a different country. The rest search for louder men and quieter truths. So what are women desperate to hide from Sigma males? That they are, in fact, relieved by him. Relieved that someone will not reward chaos. Relieved that someone won't sell himself for a weekend. Relieved that someone's no means they can rest inside his yes. They hide it because relief looks like surrender, and surrender terrifies an unled ego. But the feminine heart knows surrender to steadiness is not defeat, it is arrival. Men do not chase secret approval, chase secret alignment. Women do not fear losing leverage, fear losing yourself. And both of you, stop performing and start telling the truth. The Sigma is not a myth. He is a man who did the work. And the only thing more attractive than meeting him is becoming worthy of him, by being worthy of yourself first. When the laughter and labels fade, what remains is this. The mature masculine and the mature feminine are not at war. They are two wings of the same eagle, and the Sigma's task is to keep the wing of discipline strong while honoring the wing of devotion. Women may hide their awe of this balance because awe is vulnerable. But awe is also honest, and honesty is the only soil where love grows tall. This is the secret most won't say in daylight. Sovereignty is contagious. Around a Sigma, the highest in you wakes up. Around a woman who has done her inner work, the noblest in him stands taller. Together, they threaten every marketplace that profits from insecurity. And maybe that is why the truth is hidden, because the moment the truth is admitted, that we want depth more than drama, the game ends, and love finally begins.